All right, the Insensitive podcast series. We are still here. I don't want to say this is part two of the conversation, but it really is now. We've been talking for a while. Really glad. Just to remind you all, on the cast, it's Narada Wilson,
Yeah.
Kerron Modeste,
Good night, good night.
and Carlos Davis.
Glad to be here.
So we are segueing into the next topic. That's the word, then, Los? It's segue. To segue into the next topic, right? We just covered the issues that we have specifically as men, right? Because we could only speak from a male perspective.
Right.
Entrepreneurship, right? And how we deal with relationships, time management. We mostly spoke about how we deal with our personal lives and entrepreneurship, right? This begins to form our identity as men, because that is what fuels the most of the reason in making our decisions. I have observed that as of late, masculinity is, I would not say under fire, right? Because that's not fair. Cause I don't want to say that when women complain about toxic masculinity or what happens with males, that it's their fault or they're doing something wrong. But masculinity, which within itself is facing an identity crisis. What is a good man? Because you would say that if you have to say you're a nice guy, you're not a nice guy. So okay, so do I act like a tough guy? No, if you act like a tough guy, you have to open up. Okay, so let me be super nice. No, you're being too nice. You have to kind of, it's the goalpost to the average male moving, seems to be moving. So what I want to get out of you guys today is your experience with tuning into your own masculinity, how we deal with each other, and what do you think is the solution. So let's start with, how do you yourself, Narada, as a man, how do you define yourself? Right? Could you put that into a few words?
I think how I define myself. I think everybody has their own definition. I think mine would be, I think. Wow. All right. I think understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It is tough. It is tough. It is tough.
Right?
I think for me, it's more or less understanding where your strengths are, knowing how to use said strengths, whether it be physically or in other regards, because I think I have like two simple rules, and there's just me personally, there's not to anybody. I've never hit or cursed a woman directly, right? I could say something about the situation,
Curse at.
but I can't directly.
Wait.
Here's
Here's a better question. Maybe I phrased the question terribly.
No. Fine.
What does being a man mean to you? What principle? What sets of principles, values, morals, characteristics, actions? So
I
that
think
might be
okay. I think all right. For a man, I think we obviously
I mean, to you, don't try to generalize.
To me, I think men have to understand that we are physically stronger than women. So for me to define anything is that then you should not use that as any sort of how to put it, you should never result to that, because you understand you're already at advantage.
I don't want to mean in context of how you deal with women. I mean just like, okay, so
just in general, alright. A man is the person that has to provide. The stress is probably to provide for a family or for persons. It doesn't have to be only a family that you create. It could be just for you. We all aspire to take care of our mothers, fathers, whatever the case is in the future. Even siblings at some regard, regardless of if you're the first, second, or third sibling in the family. So I think to provide is always something.
Right.
There's also a sort of image thing where it comes to being stronger,
having it together.
Holding everything together. You're not always showing the sensitive side. Even though I was called sensitivo by some of my friends, maybe around the table.
It was specifically me.
Right? Right? So I think to some extent, my masculinity has been threatened at times simply because of the sensitivo aspect. But all in all, I think it amounts to just being able to defend whatever you stand for. I think that is, masculinity in a nutshell.
Girl, they say Yas Queen. We need a king equivalent. Oh, king, like something like that.
Right.
Yas Queen. Los, same thing. What does being a man mean to you?
I agree with Narada's points. I think being a protector, but I think over time it has changed. It's kind of morphed into something different, where nowadays that whole sensitivo might have put you at the forefront of the definition of being a man nowadays.
Right.
because I guess society more want men to be in touch or in tune with that aspect of themselves.
Correct.
Whereby back in the day, or even to relate to our parents or our dad in that sense, it's difficult to really grasp that understanding of what it is to be a man, because their definition, which did work in that period of time, is very different from the definition that we have to work with right now.
Yeah, correct.
You know, so I think it's something that we constantly kind of trying to figure out as we go.
Them coins.
Again, them coins.
So I think definitely the protector, being the provider, and I think also doing it in such a way where you have a certain level of emotional context with it. I think that is what takes it to the next level in terms of being a man, at least nowadays.
And the procreator.
Yeah.
Yes, and the procreator.
Well done, Narada. Thanks, Mr. BDM. Same question.
Well, they hit the nail on the head there. Provider, protector. But nowadays, as is really different. I think it's a bit difficult because society keeps changing what a man's supposed to be or supposed to do. I believe that, and as time go by, men haven't been prepared for this new age of women. There's been a big drive with women rights and so on, which is obviously great. Women should be equals and all these different things like that. But all the while, women were being encouraged and pushed on and supported. All the time, women were growing. We as men were just here. Nobody was pushing us forward. Nobody was preparing us for
If
this.
Max was here right now, he might have something.
Yeah, I want to shout out. We want to shout out the fifth wolf, which is Aisha Maxima. Yeah, Mac,
Out in New York.
there is a. I don't know why the author is not coming to me now, but there is a book called The Myth of Male Power, right? Where he makes several arguments, but there's one statement that stands out where he says, men's perceived strength is their greatest vulnerability, and women's perceived vulnerability is their greatest strength. I believe that, as was Modeste was saying, because I always empathize with the nonsense that women have to put up in society, because it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like, we don't even pretend it's a lot,
Yeah.
right? It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Definitely.
But what I've noticed, and in my own space, is that it's like we understand that men coming down the timeline of human history has always been privileged. So it's like you're telling yourself, all right, well, these men don't need encouragement. Women do. But what was ignored over time is the men who were not necessarily born into those powerful positions.
Correct.
So me, Jamil Bellaran, dog, I might need some encouragement.
Yeah.
I do not feel powerful on a daily basis. There are 40 women's boss brunches, and I could barely find a situation where I could speak my feelings freely without being called something. And I think that I don't believe in necessarily men's rights, right? And the reason why I say I don't necessarily believe in men's rights is because I don't think men's rights are systematically under threat. What I think is under threat is men's identity. And I think that we need a men's identity movement. That's what I feel, because when I look at young people, I don't wanna put my little brethren on blast, right? But I had a little brethren who was talking to me the other day.
Get out of coin.
About, I ain't going to call him, but if he had, he gonna know, right?
Right.
But it's private. Only him and I talk about it. Right. He was telling me about his girlfriend or whatever that they done because he said to me, he makes some jokes in a group, and a brethren of his shared these screenshots with said young lady. Now, first of all, he's a snake. Talk done, right? But that was only a piece of the story.
How you brethren go share that?
Yeah, but I not a brethren.
Oh,
you see, that's not a brethren. But I told him, I said, bro, if I fully have a girl, it has to, I wouldn't say I'm looking to pick up a side chick. Even though my most trusted friends who I know wouldn't say nothing, I still wouldn't make that joke because that's not my intention. But when he reached to the point where he asked me to call the girl. Now, this is somebody's 7, 8, 9 years younger than me, so the girl is just as I said, bro, I don't want to do this. But because you're calling me day in and day out, and I really love the girl, whatever. Call the young lady. The young lady said, honestly, I use this as more or less as an excuse to come out because I find his behavior was a bit controlling. And he didn't see that. You know what he thought he was doing? He thought he was being assertive, protective, and you understand, doing what he's supposed to do now. When they had to, so I'm saying he know. When I explained to him, I said, bro, you are actually making the young lady uncomfortable by not giving space. He was like, he cannot see it that way. And I'm saying that the reason why he's probably not seeing that because a positive male identity. Like there are some people who say, they like men who are assertive, dominant, persistent. Then when you do that, it's like, no. Yeah. That's too much. So which is what I'm saying. So I don't feel, my rights don't feel threatened. But I want to know what do I do?
It's a balance.
You understand? What do I do? Yeah. What do I do as a man? And this is the main problem. All right, so we all kind of all define what being a man is, right?
No, I think Los, you said.
No, Los.
Yeah.
Right. So, Narada, could you give me some of the challenges you face as a man? And let me give an easy example, right? There was a time I was having an argument with a young lady. I didn't raise my voice or anything, but she started to raise her voice, and immediately in this situation, I'm like, all right. You kind of need to calm down because now I kind of looking bad. It's automatically perceived that in this argument I wrong.
Yeah. This in public?
Yeah, it was in public. Yeah. And I don't argue, right? I don't argue. When she realized what was going on, started to argue more.
Right.
And like I'm there, like, bro, I cannot do because if I activate, I will just look. I feel to be fair, that only happened to me once. But that is definitely a challenge that you just face as a man because it's like, job where I was wrong. Give me a time where you might have questioned like your masculinity or what do I do as a man? Like, if you ever put in a corner, you understand? If you ever feel trapped as a man.
Hey, I'd like to pass this question on, but
you want to pass it?
Just until I gather my thoughts.
Have you ever in that situation?
But I have been, so I would speak on it. But I just like
sorry, that's fair.
To hear somebody.
Trying to get some affiliate stories.
I've never felt my masculinity threatened, but challenges as a man, obviously. This might even be as deep-rooted, but simple things as being a gentleman could be an issue these days. A simple thing because imagine you hold a door. I'm not looking for any. You're not looking for anything. Yeah, and it's like they want to talk, and I'm like, hey, I was coming out, you were coming. I held the door in for you. I'm moving on. They're not accustomed to. They're not accustomed to that behavior.
And I have something to add to that. No, not now, but after as you bring that up, I have an interesting part.
So they're not accustomed to this behavior and they see this as a man making an attempt.
That kind of, what you call it, like just being polite or just being
that is like an introduction as something, and I find that is ridiculous. It's stupid because worse yet, I've had situations where when out with my significant other, she get upset, but not because I hold the door for somebody else, because it might take long, because I hold the door and
actually start.
So, but they're seeing this as an intro and it's like, no, this is normal behavior to me. This is what I would have seen growing up. This is what I know. So it's not a matter of. So my challenge just has been being a normal human.
Right.
And it being taken as something else, and it's not that.
The thing is, the argument with that is, and I'm speaking from like interacting with a few activist groups, and I understand because I share that as well, right? Mm-hmm. I remember putting up on our status, which I promptly deleted because old tweets just come back up. But I remember saying there will come a time where you can't tell a woman hello without being accused of sexual harassment.
I remember when you put that.
No, because it happened where I was just like, my head was literally down. Good afternoon, and like the girl stoops now. So I was upset because like I definitely wasn't on you. Me, I always had since I know myself, I had headphones in my eyes and I move on. I was just saying good afternoon and she stoops. No, I don't even know. Maybe she wasn't stooping at me. I don't know. But at the time, I was like, that's ridiculous. But I would say that like street harassment, sexual harassment is rampant, right? And it's like women are on high alert. So So the frustrations lie it's like this double-edged kind of thing. I don't know double-edged is the correct term.
Catch 22.
Catch 22.
Yeah.
Where I am aware of you feeling unsafe. So I, being polite, assume I am making it safe. And now you feel further threatened.
Right.
And so what do I do?
I think it's happening in different ways because that's.
Melanie, you're going to...
No, she
You get interested in because she hold the book
that was okay. She interested.
and she's like she's been holding that book and
I think she got pulled in.
she
by
got
the
pulled into
top.
this
By
talk.
the top,
That invisible
Well,
voice.
loose.
Yellows.
Yeah, I think it's something where like the street harassment, I think it might be very brazen. Like, I mean, I want to just pinpoint like construction sites, but you just see
But
it
you've worked in the
there,
industry,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah.
you're not, you're not
Yeah.
donging on them.
And you could be walking alongside a construction site and it have men all alongside, just doing
Right.
different things. And you see girls walking and every single man had to say something about it. Them mommy, you know, them men suiting and talking about it, talking, hey, mommy, whatever. So you understand that aspect of it, but I still feel it kind of unfair for all men to get a broad brush off of that, where they have to feel now you cannot be the normal gentleman you would be because other men dragging the flag number. I think it's unfair in that sense. So I would still continue to do the things I do, but I would do it bearing in mind the fact that women has go through this thing from random men.
And they
So
could get
if she don't
they could get the
react,
consequences.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Right.
might get the consequences, but I'm not doing it to receive a particular reaction from
Right,
it. I just
right.
doing it because that's how I care about myself.
Right.
You understand?
No, it's true. I don't think we should stop greeting people politely. You understand what I'm
I
saying?
think is what happens is that we miss that. And I think it's for us. Sometimes we have to respect that we are amongst, to some extent, a privileged group. You know, we're young men,
Like, grow up a certain way,
educated.
like-
You know,
That's true.
good family life. So for us, how we see a particular action is different to, you know, it's like me sitting down saying there's a very large percentage of Trinidadians that are illiterate. And that's a statement when you say that people kind of take offense. But there are a lot of people who do not know how to read.
Right.
You know, and that's we might think is, but then when we see politics happen and people say certain things or whatever, then we realize, oh crap, like they have a whole cross section of people who did not have access to schooling like we did. But because we live
know.
amongst our peers,
You know,
we
but-
base our decisions and actions
As you say that,
on that.
my mom told me, I remember she was telling me that had you not done well in common entrance or whatever the exam was back then, you just would not place in a school. Full stop.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Yes,
would just
no
not
school.
know
There's no
school.
school,
That
right?
was- That was the
That's
end of it
something-
right there.
I think
So
that's
they,
something
they,
called
they,
continuous.
they did not
Continue in school and then it's a
Yeah,
chain now.
right.
they did not deal with you at
Didn't
all.
anything.
Yeah, it
So
was
it's
done.
kind of like we sit down and we would think, you know, boy, if we just say good afternoon, you know, many times I have done it too, and the girls, you know, but it's so many guys that saying it for other reasons. though.
Right,
Show
yeah.
up.
That
No,
we-
I know.
yeah,
That
and
is
that
it.
we-
No, but then,
don't
no,
live in
there's
that
no only
circle.
and there's no only the ratio because I do not want to push the idea that more men are vulgar than men are kind. But what I'm saying is, it's the impact. If it
Yeah.
is because you know, I was walking in town
No, I
with
can trade off
with my
everything.
girlfriend at the point in time, and we were going by back to basics. So you know where back to basics is corner of
Right,
George Street.
right.
You know it gets serious on George
Or
Street.
Eastern.
She is walking a tad bit faster than I am.
POS.
And the young lady has a kind of shape there. You all know who I'm talking about, right?
Right.
And a man say, excuse,
Right. Yeah, he hype.
I really want to eat out our box. And
Right,
bro,
okay,
that's gonna be way more impactful. Who ring in there?
Nice me.
Are you wanna go ahead? Or?
Hang it up.
That's way more impactful than a good afternoon now, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
so you will remember.
Yeah.
You will remember the two men who tell they want to eat out your box was the 6 men who said
Said
just
good
good
afternoon.
afternoon. You understand what I'm
Correct.
saying?
True.
So and I don't give you wrong for that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll wait for Modeste to come back, but you see, next thing, I was having a conversation with our brethren of mine, right? So we sticking on male identities. Now we're talking about the sensitive parts, right?
Right.
I was talking to a friend of mine in Tobago. He was saying that, you know, boy, I don't know what's going on with gal out here. I said, what's up? He said, gal only telling me I too nice. I say, you too nice? What do you mean?
Live
What
to
did you
God.
do? And then he said, well, bro, you know, after we handle we business or whatever, I might roll over and hug you up. Next morning, I might make you some breakfast. How is that too nice? And as I was saying, but so my response, and you could critique my response. My response is, I said, bro, it's not you, it's them, because I don't know how a hug and a egg, which is common decency, is being too nice. She probably just don't want to admit that she like waste man now. So how as men do we balance the whole? Because listen, the don't care approach works, right? You not
cases,
agree?
yes.
It does, yeah. I
Right.
think
So the aloof what's the word? The aloof uninterested indifferent.
It has given a air of mystery.
Right, the mysterious,
That
indifferent,
has
aloof
created
man
attraction.
versus the warm, welcoming, nice, kind man. It seems that is also a goalpost that kind of moves. Has anyone in here? I have, so I'll just say yes. I have struggled with that. Has anyone in here struggled? Because I have been told, I probably still had the text that Jamil, you're too nice, and I also get texts where your heart hard. In the same
So
in the same year.
You just ebbing and flowing. And
No, I think I am being myself. I'm not intentionally ebbing and flowing, but I think about it and when I get told that my heart is hard, I try to soften up. And then when I get told I'm too nice, I'm like, now well, I locking you off because how are you? Why would you tell me something like that? Gentlemen, please. Narada, sensitivo.
Right.
Wow.
You chime in, please.
No, I have lived the too nice
Well read.
sensitivo for
The
quite some
sensitivo
time,
life.
you know.
As
Obviously,
in
I
like
think
present day?
yeah, like
Okay.
I think
Nice
probably up
sense.
until today, you know, like
You're going there, Melanie? Yeah,
yes,
say bye before you leave to the viewers now.
To the
No, say it on the mic, say it on the mic. Say it in your most work voice.
to the invisible.
Say it in your work voice, say it in your work voice.
Bye, guys.
That's not your work voice.
take it.
Why does answer clients? Okay, have a good day. Say it lie down now.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. I think yes, I've lived it to today, you know. But what I would question is, am I doing it because of a perceived notion that is what they need, or is it that naturally it is who I am now? Because I think a lot of times what we do is, all right, cool, I believe, you know, I'm a nice person and I might do this to respect you or not. But a lot of times the feeling is more, this is what I think women deserve or they need, opposed to,
That's true.
you know, if it
I'd
is,
open the gate for mystery boys.
all right, well, you
No,
know,
when
right,
push you outside.
that if it's actually,
My gate is well open.
right, that if it's actually something in me 100%. There are things that I think are naturally me, but there are some times that, you know, I could probably leave it open and, like, you know, just, I don't probably need to text back at that point or call back or even do some sort of favor or not. But you do it because you know, they would actually appreciate this, or you think they would appreciate it, or they deserve it, because, you know, women deserve
Yeah.
particular treatment, whether it is because, you know,
Right. Tip,
you know, so again, it's the struggle with the identity of men, because if we
Yeah.
weren't to do it,
No,
then
because-
what does the woman,
No, because
How does
listen,
she
right?
respond?
I think on some level that you try to be, I don't know, a knight in shining armor. I know for a fact
Yeah.
that there are many times would create some kind of fantasy. If like I really into a girl, not only would I do a certain amount of things, whether it be extravagant or not, but I need it to look like if I do it with the greatest of ease.
right?
That to me is also part of like male identity, because I remember I went and booked a house or no villa, right, bro?
Right.
You know this story, 'cause I told all of y'all this story.
Villa is
Book
above house.
book villa,
level,
whatever, right?
Top notch.
Booked villa. Going to Tobago standby. No, I am cold sweating
Right.
because standby is full. No,
Pull a link.
inside
fully-
out
it wasn't
it
fully
was
cold sweating.
full. But I was fully cold sweating, right? But on the outside, nah, everything is cool, bro. I do not know what to do, so I had to make a call I really didn't want to make
Right.
to get things done, and I was just like, I didn't really want to do it, you know, but I had to pull it out,
Right.
bro. And you are creating this air of, yeah, everything's under control. I'm that guy, but you're quivering, bro. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, does she need to see that, or could I have really been honest and said,
You know,
I am
things, yeah.
a bit worried about how things would go, but I'm going to try something. Did I need to really play it off like if
I like how you phrase and ask that question. I think you could sometimes the nice boy thing, I believe, if girls feel like any and everybody just get it, it mightn't matter as much as if it's really, okay, this person is this way, whether it be negative in the general sense, but they making that extra effort, which is why they doing this eggs and bacon or whatever in the morning. This isn't really them, but because it's me, they doing this now.
Right.
So maybe it might have, I don't know the individual, but it might have shone in a different light. You telling her, girl, I don't really know what to do, you know, boom, boom, whatever. And then tell her, you know, I could make this call, you know, but I don't want to make this call. This is not call I would usually make. But I really want us to make this move, so I gotta make this call. Maybe the way she'd have perceived it was like, wow, he really
doing this
just because it's me.
No. Hold on, Luz. I said that. But what I'm saying is, the way I brought it across.
Like it's no big
Bro,
Like
I
it's no
was
biggie.
cold sweating, bro. I did not know if this call would have worked because I reaching for the CEO. He
But-
didn't have to do that.
But I think girls is like to feel part of that cold sweat in the sense of to experience that with you. All that was part of you going across there with whatever the beat up was. But if you just cool, she gonna feel like she just could be cool as well. She'd rather beat up as well as wherever. Maybe in your mind like, okay, this call you really would make this call or whatever. But if you move it cool about it, she gonna also move like, well yeah,
There's
it's a
nothing
whatever.
else.
Same.
It wasn't some big.
But if you genuinely let her know, hey, not like you making her panic or you making her feel like you bummed me to make this call, but just like, this really isn't me now. Like, I wouldn't do this.
Yeah, so that's what I said. So I was like, I don't, because I genuinely do not like to ask for favors. That's just not
Pull them
me.
links and them.
I don't like to pull no links, but I did pull the particular company out of a situation. So
Straight to the top.
I went straight to the top. But again, it's like, you know, I know somewhere inside I told myself, you need to not show any kind of fear
I
to
understand.
make her worry.
I understand.
You understand what I'm saying?
And
So is that this? It's not dishonest, but it's not necessarily how I really.
No, but what
feel.
I would say to that is also a part of being a man.
Being a
In
right,
every
that's him
situation,
identity. Right, yeah.
every situation, no matter how bad
Dire.
it is, how dire,
Yeah.
how bad it is on your side, or you know what it is, she's not supposed to know, or she's not supposed to feel threatened at any point in
Yeah.
time because you're supposed to have this under control.
I'm a big believer in sacrificing your comfort to make sure that you're comfortable.
Yeah.
I am a
I
big
agree,
believer in
100%.
that.
I
Also.
like.
And I talk about like something as simple as like she's lying down on your lap and your foot falling asleep and you just
But you
not
gonna
going to
just
move
fall
her
straight
because
down, fall
if she
asleep.
comfortable and she fall asleep,
Correct.
you're gonna
You just
because
feel the
you're gonna-
pins and
you're
needles.
gonna feel the pins and needles,
for
but
a
she
while.
comfortable, so you're
Just
good.
Love a dead
Because
leg.
basically
I agree.
is our, I should say it's not one way happiness
Love
because
that.
you are happy or you are satisfied or you are
You know-
content when she is.
You know what, man? No understand
happy.
that.
That-
Like I
just
would,
at peace.
Yeah.
I would tell a significant other, I'd be like, nah, if you good, I good. What does that mean? I mean, I would get my joy from seeing you happy. But is that healthy, boy? Should you not be a little bit selfish in what
I
making
think
you
it
happy?
have degrees to do with it, and I think the degrees matter in the sense of back to the same thing I was saying. If she feel like naturally once you with that girl, you would make her more comfortable than you, or you would sacrifice that. It mightn't matter to her as much as if this girl real special. I would make these particular sacrifices just for her, not just because it's my girlfriend or this is my significant other, but because it's her. And I think it have a fine line between being a gentleman, then being a man or that image of a man that you think, and then also being a significant other, and being able to vibrate between those different whatever it is, and just exist, and all of that is still being a man within itself, you know.
How much of your role as a man in society is, I don't want to say submitting, but we are at a stage where we may need to be doing way more listening, way more understanding, way more compromising, and to a degree, even way more non-existent, like just get out of the way. How much of that do you think affects your daily life? And I'll give an example, right? I believe that when it comes to something like reproductive rights, we really shouldn't have no say on that. Like that's something I think we should get the hell out of the way. With that, it's strange to say like if it is you and a woman in a sexual relationship, she gets pregnant and she said she wants to have it. You know damn well as a guy you're not ready, but she just says she's going to have it. That's kind of tough. But I still think that we really shouldn't have any say in that because it's her body now. Even though it's your sperm or whatever, it's her body. But there are several other things that happen in society where we might need to just kind of stand out of the way.
But that's a tricky topic.
It is it's not even the reproductive rights, but I mean like there are certain things.
Just commented on that.
No, we're not going to talk about reproductive rights. I'm saying I feel like we shouldn't have any say on that. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you might have a real strong opinion on something, and you might think, and now your role as a man may be to, you know what?
Just take a backseat.
I'm going to hold back that opinion because, for the sake of progress, you all feel like that happens to you all often?
I think it's healthy. I wouldn't say it happens to me often. I wouldn't say I get in actual social situations where I need to kind of pat down. But my observation, I think it's healthy. Once it is in a good measure.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue what that sound is.
I think it's
the ice in the
Oh, okay, cool, yeah, because
just kind of shifting around.
Yeah, because I'm like, yo.
Yeah, I think it's healthy just in the sense that in the general opinion of things is that, men had the forefront of things and, this whole patriarchal society. And now we're moving to where it's more of equality, more of understanding, more awareness. I understand they will have certain things that would be a little uncomfortable because of the way you grew up with your image or impression of how a man's supposed to be. So it would take some, if it's growing pains or whatever with it. So I definitely agree with that.
Right.
But I wouldn't say I actually experienced it to say I had a partner and push my mouth for anything,
Now looking at me. Anyway,
might have some experience.
well, to be honest, with regards to the reproductive rights, to be honest, I think I understand fully what you're saying, but to me, on one end, it is the young woman's body and so on, but also we have to be there. You have to be there to support whatever decision may be taken. However, I strongly believe as well that you can have your opinion with regards to, now, this is me, with regards to if this young lady does not want to go through with this and you are for this. Now, yes, you don't have to go through the pregnancy, you don't have to have the pains and all those things, but I just think if you could just make a point, you could just make your point.
I think, you know what? I wouldn't say...
You understand?
I wouldn't say you can't, because this is now you and your personal life, right?
Yeah, because...
I suppose what I meant was on a systematic level, where... Or systemic, I don't know. I'm slight buzzed, I won't lie.
Too much night.
Yeah, I'm really drinking it straight. But, so you see when the situation where in... I want to say it was Texas or wherever it was, where like how much of old white men decide, okay, well, we're gonna take away, right? That's what I mean. I mean, like this on a societal level.
But that's extreme. I think.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is this: on a you the common man can't come and say, ready to crack single. A common man can't come and say, yo, I agree with those guys,
right? Yeah.
to take away contraceptives and make abortion illegal and like I don't even think you should be get out of the way with that one. Get out of the way with that one, bro.
Especially with that kind of energy. Like I think the approach, and then that with what Modeste was saying is like, if it's your significant other or a personal situation, I think our conversation is warranted. I think the way you go about it is understanding the fact that if she has certain decisions, you need to support her on that. But I think you can make your position stated. Because at the end, it's not just the 9 months, it's also the how much ever years after that.
Correct.
You have to have understanding with that. But in the general sense, I think it definitely is a conversation men really need to sit down and listen to what the woman's saying. They can have an opinion. I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah,
them
just
have an opinion, but
opinion.
you really have to let them fully say what they need to say and fully internalize it. Maybe ask a couple questions until you understand it, and then you could formulate an opinion. Yeah. Other than that, you just speaking from a place of ignorance, and I think that's what was pissed off a lot of these women or
Yeah, true.
woman movements and stuff. No?
Yeah. And just to add to that is my whole thing is the end result and the end decision is hers, you know?
Right.
The end, but you just would like to get your opinion or what you believe
Just like a 2 cents.
across. You just want to tip.
Just tip to count.
Yeah, you just want to
You just want
let
to
a
give you a
voice,
tip.
but your support is there 100. Although you may not be in agreement with what she decides
Right,
in the
right.
end, your support is there. Now. I think that is most important.
Yeah.
I was wondering something like when you said that. So it's ultimately her decision.
That's no hold on that before
Yeah.
I jump in there. Is that a topic that you kind of skip over, right?
Right.
It was
I
the,
think
it
so.
was the nice guy topic.
Right.
Where
I don't
have
remember.
you lived
but-
as a sensitivo? Just no hold on. We asked the question,
Right.
you know, how do you flow between, you know, the nice guy? Can we get him out?
Can you bring it back there? And the way you recite the question.
How do you flow
You remember that good boy?
between the nice guy, the warm, welcoming nice guy, the cool, mysterious, indifferent guy? How do you balance that? Have you been a nice guy for too long?
Mystery pilot.
I have been a nice guy for a large part.
For a large part.
For a large part, you know, up until today or up to today. I think my mystery
2 hours ago.
came from
I was today years old when I was a
right? No, I've always been like what the majority perceived as a nice guy. But I think what my mystery came as or what fought me was just somewhat the back and forth lifestyle between Brazil and Trinidad.
I see.